Hello everyone, welcome to the Life of Sewing. So today we will be learning on how to create Snoopy in cross stitch. So first, we must gather all the materials needed for our today's activity such as the Snoopy's pattern, Ida cloth, embroidery hoop, our thread, and of course the needle. Just a quick reminder that once we hold the needles, please be mindful on its tip since it may prick our fingers while doing the cross stitch. Use a thimble to protect your finger. For our second step, choose and cut your canvas. You can use plastic canvas with yarn to cross stitch your coasters. You can also go with Ida cloth and embroidery thread to get a finer, more detailed option. Either way, you will need to cut the canvas to the size and shape that you want it to be for your project. Now for our third step, you can create your cross stitch coaster using yarn if you are working with plastic canvas or using embroidery thread if you are using Ida cloth. Now for our fourth step, get a tapestry needle. A tapestry needle is larger than a regular sewing needle, but still narrow enough to fit into tight spaces. This makes it ideal for weaving in and out of your canvas. Make sure to choose a tapestry needle with a large enough eye to fit your thread or yarn into. Now, have a pair of scissors on hand. You will need scissors to cut your thread or yarn to a usable length for cross-stitching. So now let's move on making a basic coaster. So here we need to thread the needle. Start by threading your needle with about 12 to 14 inches of yarn or thread. Insert the yarn or thread through the eye of the needle and pull the yarn or thread through so that only a few inches remain on one side of the eye and the rest is on the other side. It is important to avoid having your thread too long or it may become knotted. That is why 12 to 14 inches is ideal. It is enough slack to stitch for a while but it is not much that it will get in the way or it get tangled easily. So here we are going to anchor the thread. Insert the needle. To do a basic cross stitch, insert the needle through the first square on the second row from the top of your work. This is the square near the top left of the canvas when you are looking at the canvas. Go into the square from the back side of your canvas and then bring the thread through the square until the 1 inch remains behind it. Hold this thread with your thumb to secure it. Keep in mind that a basic cross stitch forms an X. You will do one row of diagonal lines and then stitch back across the row in the opposite direction to turn the diagonal lines into X-shaped stitches. To start your first X, bring the thread up towards the top row of your work and then over the second square from the edge. When you reach the end of your first row, then you will double back in the opposite direction. You will be forming diagonal lines going in the opposite direction to complete your X-shaped stitches. Make sure to start at the bottom row and stitch up and over to form your diagonal lines. On this pass, you will be stitching diagonal line going from right to left. Stitch all the way across your first row of diagonal lines to complete the cross stitches. And now for the last step, continue until your project is complete. After you complete your first row, you can begin a new row to continue your work. To make a basic cross-stitch coaster, you will only need to work the basic cross-stitch across all rows of your project.